Shut up and sit down.
Hey everybody, welcome to the FTSQ podcast where we celebrate non-conformists. And we have a great non-conformist for you today. This is Andy Jouan, and we met in 2014 at Pride. Amazing. And I am going to, there's a funny photo that we've actually found that we'll be sticking up, using the word sticker, because there's stickers all over me, at Pride, and we'll be slotting that into the video for everybody to look at. Welcome, Andy. So you're in your studio, which hints to who you are and what you are. So you are one of the founding artists of the FTSQ Gallery. You are also a singer-songwriter, amazing indie folk music and guitarist, queer activist, which we will be getting you on to talk about more. But you've launched, in the process of launching Out Across Borders, and we will talk about that on another show. But today we're going to be talking about art. And you have had a corporate career, much like me, at one weird point of our lives. So welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. That was a very lovely introduction.
Well, we're going to kick off everything today. Obviously, we're going to talk a lot about art and so forth in your life. But the first question I always ask everybody is, what does being a non-conformist mean to you as an artist?
As an artist, okay. So like the push of my art has always been, it's very abstract. I like to try and integrate spirituality with my art, and the point is for people to connect with their observer rather than their mental mind. As far as that's what I'm trying to sort of, we in our busy world, especially in the West, probably more so. Well, maybe everywhere now. I don't know. Everything is so rush, and that's a very mind space for me as an overthinker. So, as a non-conformist artist, it's to get people to slow down and feel, feel into the art. I don't care what they think it is. It can be, because it's abstract, it can be anything that they resonate with. That's my perspective as an artist. I have other perspectives as a non-conformist. Bring it in. Okay. So though a lot of it was subconscious, growing up as a queer person, and I was aware of myself at a very young age, and but I lived in a very conservative place, and so I've unknowingly always been a non-conformist. So it feels weird to talk about being a non-conformist because it's just my state. It's just I've never not been against the odds.
Part of who you are. It does seem to come out with everybody that I've had on. It just tends to be everybody goes, well, that's just the state of being and who I am and how.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think I came late into my art, which we'll talk about later. But part of that was because I was queer and but not wanting to be out, and so I hid elements of myself, not music so much, but so I hid elements of myself because I felt like it was outing myself.
And do you think that the art side of things has now allowed you, because also when you, sorry, I'm jumping around on here, but I mean, I'm assuming when you, because I know how old you are, I'm assuming when you first were aware of the fact that you were queer, you it was not legal at that point either, was it? And
well, from an age of consent perspective, but also where I came from, they did this weird thing where I think it was in the 90s, they legalized homosexuality, but they didn't legalize sodomy. Sorry, that's a naughty word. So you could be gay, but you couldn't do. I mean, sodomy for anyone, straight, gay, bi, whatever. You couldn't do it. So you could be gay, but you couldn't do the fun bit. So there was always something that you were coming up against, sort of thing. So it's like there was always a justification that they could, that they made your life difficult. And so growing up
And you
in
weren't
that environment.
in the UK specific. Well, you were in Jersey, brought up in Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, Jersey and the Channel Islands, which it's a protectorate of the UK, but it has its own government and rules and laws, and they generally follow the UK's, but they're generally later on. So, like the equalisation of age of consent and everything like that was way later on than the UK. Yeah.
Feeling like
But,
you didn't fit in, I'm assuming, was exacerbated by being in a tinier community, smaller community. Mm.
a small community. Though my parents weren't religious, I went to Sunday school, so there's probably when you're young, that gets stuck in your head a little bit. And school, even we still did morning prayer at school back in those days. So you grow up with a sort of feeling different anyway, and then everything around you says you shouldn't be who you are. The law, church, family, can't really trust your friends. All of the foundations of what should give you something in life to move forward on, you can't rely on. You absolutely can't rely on. Regardless of the other dynamics of what's going on in family and whatever, there's that internal part, that very much internal part of you that is, I'm on my own in this. Whether you, I don't think I ever used those words, but there was just a doubting about, I always had to hide myself somehow. I always had to be someone else. It's probably why we're so good at acting.
That would make sense. I mean, that segues into the next part of the section anyway, which is, tell us your story and how you became an artist. Like, what's your journey? Like, obviously, you've started in the Channel Islands. Like, how do you get to where you are today?
Yeah, so musically wise, I started playing guitar actually at primary school, and that was because I really liked the teacher. My family dynamics were not good, and he was a male teacher, a really cool sort of hippie dude. That teacher that everybody, all the kids loved, he was that teacher sort of thing. Yeah, he was amazing. Yeah, and my sister had already started learning. She was 3 years older than me, so she was learning the violin. So I gave that a go. Didn't really like it, and didn't. I regret that. But the teacher was boring, and that was an important dynamic for me. I think I needed to get on with the teacher, sort of thing. And this dude was really creative. He played multiple instruments, and it was fun. So that got me into guitar, and he was really encouraging of me. And because I liked spending time, it was like an extra lesson with him, so it was great, But we did this little school concert once, actually, and I remember I played the mandolin because it happens to be, though you strum it, it's the same finger placings as the violin.
Guitar, a mandolin,
so
is that how it works? Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. There's a lot more strings very close together, and you play it as if you were playing the violin, but you pluck it, and that's sort of a little broader horizon. Oh, I can do that as well. It's like, and he encouraged that sort of thing. He's like, I know you've done the violin, Andy, so have a go at this. It was his mandolin. They said, and we'll see if we can integrate it in the concert sort of thing, and that was cool. And on my I still have the one primary school end of primary school, actually. It was before I moved on to secondary school. And there's lots of he's an okay student, blah, blah, blah. Managed to throw myself into the B team football team. But Andrew's not a very flexible boy, but he has made it into the B team. I don't know. But the headmaster's final comment was where Andrew excels is in music, and he has entertained both students and parents on many occasions, and I really love that. But sadly, only for parents, they're terrible. I only actually found it after my mum passed away. She kept it lovely, but could have shown it to me a bit more often. I didn't even know it still existed, But so I have that now. Yeah. So that was the start of my sort of getting into my creative body sort of thing, and the guitar in and out of the years, different things happen, and it's sort of always been there on the side, and then I adopt it a bit more, and then it disappears a bit, or I started, I got involved in open mics again back home as I grew up and stuff like that. The art side of it, other than the odd art class at home, at school, even secondary school, I don't know. I just didn't get vibe it. It was just, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it was because it was in classrooms and things that was too exposed.
If, as you said before, you had a feeling that once you let loose, it would let loose all of you, which I'm assuming now is the case.
Yeah. I think that was too close to the bone. Where being a guitarist was still, you could pull that off as cool.
And you didn't just play guitar. I've heard your music. You're also a really good singer, and you write your own songs as well.
Oh, yeah. Self-taught. I remember it. I'm an astrologer as well, so I believe in previous lives, right? So I must have been about 8 years old at Sunday school, and we're learning the song for the choir to sing in the church. And I roll my R in the song, right? And the teacher playing the piano go, "Have you had singing lessons, Andy?" And I was like, "No." And they said, "Where did you learn to roll your R?" I said, "Well, I just did." So I reckon it's from a previous life, and it's still in there.
I mean, I know what it sounds like to roll your R's, but how did that come out? Because also that's not what you would do in that kind of music either, is it? Usually. Interesting.
No. Yeah. I mean, in my songs, I don't roll my R's because it's not necessary, sort of thing. But yeah, it was just, I don't know, just
whether the audience believes in that kind of thing or not, or epigenetics as well is a new interesting thing about DNA, certain things being passed down through DNA and so forth as well. Whatever you believe, I think it's really cool that was something that you felt just came out. Like you probably didn't even know it was coming out; it just came out, right? Oh, that's cool.
It just came out, I was just doing it. Yeah. It's quite fun.
Right.
I've lost my track now. So guitar, singing, and then I'll sort of zip forward. I was part of the corporate world for a bit because that's how we make money back in Jersey.
There's certain things about knowing how to be organised and run an organisation or a business that I think for me has been really helpful, even though I've gone very creative. I would imagine it's going to be the same with you.
Absolutely. There's skills that come from that set of, that are so important. And I think, especially as artists, sometimes we can get so into the art that if we haven't had that experience, I'm sort of pleased that I had no disrespect to anybody, but I'm sort of pleased that I've not gone to art school and just gone from school to art school to trying to do that in real life, because I've got skills that those people don't have that I can integrate into as integrate into the business. It also has to be a business if you want to make a living out of it.
Because art world. Music whether it be music or fine art, they're not easy businesses to be in, and you have to be very focused if that's how you want to do. But how do you balance that with the creativity is a difficult one. I know I struggle with it all the time.
Yeah. So I did my corporate world bit, went travelling for a bit, and then I came back to the UK. After working abroad and traveling, basically.
New Zealand at one point, didn't you?
New Zealand, I was just about to say, yeah. Worked in Auckland. I'm a Jaffa, just another fucking
all our Kiwis out there, you know what that means.
Yes, for
everybody that's from New Zealand, Andy knows K Road in Auckland. That's amazing.
Yeah. So then I came back to London, and I decided not to return to Jersey at that point. I'd left my horizon from there and embraced the bigger world. I'd obviously had holidays and stuff like that as I was growing up, but like spending a long-term time away from somewhere, you realise you can live quite efficiently in other places, sort of thing, and you can integrate into life and everything. It's not scary as you think it. Well, not scary as I thought it was going to be. Yeah. And so I decided to stay in London. And though I had come out in Jersey, in New Zealand, that was when I was in Jersey. I visited London, theatre, go down the pub, but go back to Jersey, sort of thing. So in New Zealand, that was actually the first gay scene that I became a part of. Yeah. And I still have one wonderful gay family out there who some of them have even visited me in London.
Because you would have been there in the 90s, right? When were you there?
No.
Oh, really? That was
2009.
right.
I went
Yeah,
back.
I mean, I was had a lot of gay friends in the mid to late 90s. Definitely went clubbing down K Road for sure. I've been to many a gay foam party in Auckland. And I even back then, New Zealand was really open, and it was easy. It was easy to be gay.
Yeah, they're so liberal and open, and it was just amazing, and like the proper gay scene. And as I do, I've become part of the bar, and before you know it, I'm helping serve behind it and making friends, and it just it's the first time I felt really part of a gay community. Because though Jersey had a gay bar, it was sort of like somewhere where you went and everybody knew you went to that bar.
It was that feeling of only gay in the village situation, kind of. Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. And even if you like, I went to a few parties and stuff like that, but I never seemed to click or integrate in. Most of my friends were straight, which is great to be. I've got some great mates there, but New Zealand was the first gay family that I had, sort of thing, and I loved it. Yeah, brilliant people. And my first trans friends, love you, gay. Yeah. They've been around forever, darlings. Leave them alone. Sorry, queer activists can't help it.
All good.
Yeah. So I came back to London, and I got involved in Soho and all of that stuff, and was doing a bit of work in bars and hospitality, and because it's very easy to get into that in London. And then I was like, out of working in a bar and then socialising, I was just spending all of my time out, and I was all right, I've got to do something more constructive. So I decided on a Saturday I would go to Nick Malone's London art classes, and he basically opens his studio to he can get about 10 people around his big table, sort of thing, and you can use all of his supplies, and he gives you a little lesson, and you look at different artists, and he does a fixed 10-week course, but you can go as many times as you like. And there's cheese and wine.
Never go wrong with cheese and wine and a bit of art.
Exactly. Yeah. And he's a lovely teacher. He's a really nice guy and a great artist. And he's been really encouraging in whilst I was there, and I was like just getting a bit more fluid and into the flow of things. And even though it was a class environment, I think because it was in a studio, you felt more. I felt freer to experiment and just have a go at things and whatever. And because Nick was very supportive, you felt comfortable. It's good. So I did the 10-week course, and he was like, "You've got something here, Andy. You need to carry on." And then I was like, "Okay, I'll just get some canvases and paints and do some stuff at home." And this was in my first, this was in 2015, I think, something like that. And in that first year, because of good old social media, and you start looking at art things, and the algorithms throw things at you, and I came across this thing called the New Artist Fair. And by then, I'd painted quite a lot of pictures and done different things. So I thought, I'm going to do it. So I rented at the New Artist Fair. There's a few of them around now, but you rent the wall space, and good luck, you might sell something. But you're there with 100 other artists, which is a great experience anyway. And you to try and sell your art basically, but you get to see everybody else's art as well, sort of thing. So it's a really good weekend. But I sold some art. Yeah. Now, I know it's not just about the selling, but it really gave me some courage, sort of thing. And I was like,
that you're going in the right direction.
Yeah. Yeah. So I carried on doing it. I then moved to Bournemouth, and I got a studio at the Factory Studios down there. I missed the beach, and went back to
And that's
living by
when
the
you and
beach,
I
so it was cool.
reconnected, wasn't it? When you were
And that was
down
a
there,
great.
we did a video.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
started to do my charcoaling.
it was lovely
Yeah.
studio.
Um,
Mm.
Yeah, it's a great studio. Yeah. It's been revamped now, unfortunately, but it's still artistic, but it's more tech desks and things like that. So I got this. Yeah. And it was a great environment though, because there was like lots of other artists of different types. You know, like digital artists, painters. There was a dance school. There was a jewelry maker. There was a calligraphy pen maker. He's really beautiful stuff. He's in Harrods and other places. He's like, he's way up there. But yeah, one of the guys there designs quite famous. He's in the industry of beer can labels and wine bottle labels and stuff like that. And I started doing these charcoals, which you liked as well, and it sort of became my mainstream sort of thing. Everybody seemed to like those, and I do as well. Actually, they're really expressive, and a lot of the time I never know what's going to come out. It's great. But yeah, this guy, one of his clients is an English wine, Poynings Vineyard down in near Brighton. He was designing labels for them, but they wanted an actual artist to do one of the labels, and he would integrate that art within the label, sort of thing. You know, I'm going to move.
Oh, you've got the bottle, haven't you? Oh, yes.
Yeah. There's nothing in the bottle anymore, but yes, I don't know.
We'll take
something like that anyway. You can see. I'll try and send you a picture to it. So that was a great experience. Collaborating with other people. You know, this guy. All of a sudden, I'm on a wine label. You know, and it's still produced and it's still out there. It was great. You know, it's like, and I never, you know, like being in that space where you're collaborating with other people. It was just the next leap for me. I was like. One, it was my first studio, basically. Two, I'm working around other artists, and another artist has not acknowledged my work and is willing to incorporate my work in, a commercial enterprise. You know, so it was like it's these little leaps of validation that just reinforce. It's like I'm doing this. I'm actually doing this. You know, so And then, things were changing down there. The Factory Studios is brilliant, and the guy who runs it, David Mullins, is a trooper. He really tries to keep the place for art, and they've got a little shop on the high street as well where they sell some of the stuff. Yeah, it's a cool place. But I came back to London. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to retire out of. Bournemouth has a gay scene, but you can't beat London. London's not just got a gay scene. You know, it's got so many different environments that you can hang out in. It is a great city. It's a great city. So I came back to London. I initially got a studio in Art Hub, which is over there, and then lockdown hit. So we could still go to the studios, but we couldn't invite anyone around, and you couldn't collaborate. So, you know, it was just a difficult time for anyone who was creative. Really, it was tricky. And financially, it was hard because, like, I had been working in hospitality. I was incorporating my art and music, and that was so up and down during that period. So I left the studio because it was just unaffordable. Even though they reduced the rents and everything, and the art council helped and stuff. It just got too unaffordable. And then I moved to Greenwich, the borough of Greenwich, and I thought, right, I'm going to get a studio again. And here I am at Thameside Studios. I've been here a couple of years now.
It's really
it's an amazing studio. Art Hub's really cool, but most of them are open. They're not like you have four walls, but you don't have a ceiling because the light comes in from the roof, and so everybody's has no ceiling, so it feels a bit exposed, sort of thing. Where all the studios here are your individual space, but you can go and chat next door, and wander around and say hi to everyone, and they put on lots of different events and stuff to make sure people are meeting each other. Yeah, and the studio is just amazing. I love it here. It's my sanctuary. It's absolutely
I have taken video of it before, so if anybody wants to watch it, I'll put the link in the show notes to the video of when I've done a little bit of a walk around.
perfect. Yeah,
I think what's really interesting about that space as well is that it's not just pure fine art artists, but you've got like on the day that I came and saw you for one of their open studios, they have things like bag makers and people that are making clothing, and I managed to, they had a little scrap box of like, I don't know what I'm going to do with the exo as a piece of art I'm probably going to make, but I picked up a little scraps of leathers, and like there's makers, not just artists, or these, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think it's a really amazing community, you know.
There's I think there's something like 500 of us here. It's a huge place, and they got another one in Hoxton and Walthamstow as well. They got more than they got other units. Yeah. And it's dedicated to like one of the things that that artists struggle with is often our studios are shut down because they're going to be redeveloped or something like that sort of thing. But like this is it's here for us. It's a great.
I mean, what was it before that? Was it?
It was warehouses. It was old warehouses basically, and
they've
just
also done
built
an amazing
and stuff.
Yeah. Whenever I've gone there, it's like an adventure. I think going there, it's
yeah. You never know what you're going to come across, and different artists and styles, and there's sculptures and clay, and and you can join classes here to have a go. You can go to the leather place and learn to. And you can go and have a go at sculpting. Yeah. They really encourage interaction between everybody.
Inspiring, isn't it?
It's really good.
Which leads me on to my next question, actually. Inspiring. See what I did there? Is to talk to you about where you find your inspiration, because I think it's really interesting to find out from artists, like where you find your inspiration and how that then turns up in your work.
Yeah. Okay. Do you mean like from other artists?
Where do you generally get your inspiration? Generally, from is it other artists? Is it nature? Is it like what is it?
Bad dreams.
Could be. I don't know.
Well, yeah. Some of the time, definitely. Actually, when I was at Nick Malone's London Art Schools, he suggested that I have a look at Wallace Kandinsky. Bearing, I am not educated on any of the arts or anything like that, and because I avoided art, so not to out myself, I just wasn't interested in sort of thing, So I was like, right, I'll find out who this Wallace Kandinsky bloke is, and I love his art. He's amazing, and it was so ahead of its time as far as I'm concerned, and then I got his books, and he was so into his two main themes basically spirituality and music. So I was like, I resonate with this guy. It's and like the freedom and flow of music, he wanted to integrate that into art. He wanted, because at the time in the 1800s, everything was realism and portraits and all of that sort of stuff, and but he wanted that flow in his art, and I really resonated with that. And I was like, okay. So I looked at lots of his art and started to sort of evolve from that. And then I started looking at other artists. Paul Klee, I love, because there's a similarity between him and Kandinsky, but there's a lot more layering in his art and transparency, so you're looking through different layers of the painting. It's really interesting. I really love Paul Klee stuff. It's very cool, very cool. Francis Bacon, because he's a wonderful queer, and his art at the time was just like blood guts and mind blowing, and
I love it.
Yeah, literally, yeah. I went to see his exhibition actually at a few years back, and the bull. He did these the Spanish bulls when they're in the bullfighting, and they're huge. They're 20 feet tall and about, I don't know, 8 feet wide, sort of thing. And there was like 4 of them in this room, but the movement in them and like the so visceral, and like you could feel the energy in them still, like just like the sheer volume to create something of that size, still make it feel intimate enough that you can be involved in it, but it's overwhelming as well. It was absolutely talented, man. Absolutely talented. So I need to go to the French house and have more wine, apparently.
Clearly.
Yeah. Other than those are probably my 3 favourite artists there. Van Gogh, pure, and I'm going to go to Arles actually to the mental asylum where he was.
Oh wow! I didn't know that.
You can visit it still. Yeah. It's a beautiful town as well. It's one of the more Spanish-looking French towns because it was just on the border there. They still have a Colosseum. Everything's very, very beautiful. Yeah. I read a book of his that I got when there was an exhibition at the National Museum, and I really resonated with him on his mental health struggles. And the book was written really well. Actually, it was about his art and the time that he spent at the asylum, and a lot of the paintings come from around there. He would walk around and or be escorted around sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, the struggles that he was going through, I really, really, really hit with them. I was like, okay, I can, some of them alcohol induced because he'd go out and get, and then you've got all of the purpose.
To be fair, being there, done that as well. Know what that feels like when you,
yeah, well, I'd call it a coping mechanism. Other than that, nature, because it's just lovely to be, like even growing up, I was just always down the beach and things like that. I was very lucky to grow up where I did from that perspective.
The first 4 pieces I bought of yours was the 4 Seasons.
And I just think it's such a spectrum. It is life, we go through these seasons of our life. So to incorporate that in various elements of art just is just, sort of, maybe makes me feel sort of like don't wait around too long to do what you want to do, because actually it's shorter than you think. They're these seasons and that's it. It's like again, spirituality is quite an important part of my life. So like the more abstract ones is an expression of my emotion and my spirit. And just trying to get people to feel theirs, maybe. It's like,
I think your 2 your 2 pieces, my brain's gonna have a brain fart right now. Soul Search 1 and 2, which are actually sitting behind you, interestingly enough. What's interesting about that is the extraordinary, like anything, unless you see it in real life, you're not going to get that feeling. But I remember when we did our first pop-up launch, where it was you, it was the now dear past agenda, and Anya and Danny, and we had you up in the first pop-up exhibition that we did in Battersea. I remember seeing the Soul Search that's directly behind you for the first time in real life, because up until then I'd just seen it on screen or what have you, and I just stood there for ages looking at it, and you can like you're saying, you can feel, and that's what you're trying to achieve. I mean, I always picked everybody by what I could feel and to work with in the gallery, and I just remember seeing that piece and going, oh, that's extraordinary. I still to this day do not understand why it's not been sold, because it's one of the most beautiful. My dad loves it. He said, "Oh, if I had the money." But so anyone who wants to have a look at it.
Part of me thinks that it might give people too much of a reflection, and that can be painful sometimes.
Well, if I had the money, I would buy it
maybe
tomorrow.
I don't want to go there.
No question. I would buy it tomorrow because I think it's an extraordinary piece, and but also all your other pieces, I think. And I have found that because you've gone in and out of the charcoal stages. I think that's when I first met you doing charcoals. Then you had done some of your bigger pieces,
Yeah.
and then you've more recently gone back into that again with a different look, actually. Um,
Yeah.
and I bought another piece, actually. I
Yeah, it is.
bought that
Yeah,
piece.
yeah.
I don't remember
Yes,
what
you
it's
did. Yeah,
called. My God, brain. We'll put that up as well. But I think what's interesting is that journey that you've taken, how the inspiration must move, does it flow? Yes.
I think so. Yeah, again, because
Mm,
I see myself as an expressionist, and so a lot of it is if I'm in a more peaceful phase of my life,
yeah,
then that's going to come out in the art sort of thing, you know. Where if I'm in a manic place, then it's going to be all lively and you know, I'm literally
yeah,
painting with my hands and I'm trying to feel into it. It's, you know, I'm not there with a. I do use a brush,
yeah.
but I like to get into it. You know, it's like you know, so. Um, yeah, the charcoals I find so
Smaller.
much more intimate. Obviously, well, they are smaller, but like because you're rubbing the charcoal and you're getting
But there's
into it.
still kind of,
It's you know it's really
yeah, I suppose so.
it's a
I
bit
mean,
micro macro, I suppose.
it
I don't know.
does seem that there's still a flow there. Because I remember you saying, it might have been on the piece you did that I've got, or maybe on another piece, I can't remember. But you just did some weird thing and you went, oh, I see and I think you said you saw a bull in it, or you saw yeah. Is that the piece? Oh, I can't even
Yeah,
remember. Yeah,
yeah. I
that's
literally
right.
did a line and push like that, and then I was like, "That's a bull's tail," and so
I
then I
love
did the
that
rest of.
though. I think that's, yeah,
Yeah, it looked a bit
yeah.
like cave art something, but yeah. I just saw something in it, and I don't sort of maybe it might have been a little bit of my. I hadn't done some art in a while, so it might be my raging bull frustration was letting me know. Come on,
You seem to be back in the groove again, which is kind of good. Yay, go
yeah. Thank you
Ian.
very much to my husband. He's like, go on, get to the studio.
And your mediums. So we've talked about the charcoals. You're also using. Let me remember this right. You're using acrylics on canvas mostly for your other pieces. Is there anything other mediums you use?
Yeah. Mm, I don't think so. I did do some like tiny little like crafty sort of bits and pieces, but it was just
Yeah,
ideas I was playing with rather than anything sort of thing. That's um, yeah. Generally, it's I just like the flow. Like though they're very different sort of in texture, that charcoal and acrylic paints. For me,
yeah,
I can use them the same almost. You know, even though you know
yeah. That
just
makes
because
sense.
of how I can move it. You
Yeah,
know,
that makes sense
you
with
know.
that flowing
Yeah,
feeling that
yeah.
you're probably,
Yeah. I'm involved in it. You know,
So
I'm really
you're
involved
doing
in it.
all
You
these
know?
amazing
Yeah.
pieces, and obviously, as you said, you left it till quite a long time in your life to sort of get going with it. How did it then feel, and how does it feel to share that work with the world? Like, are there any emotions you get when other people view your work?
Um, so I'll integrate my music into this as well, actually. So again, back in 2015, that's when I recorded my first EP, and
Oh, yeah.
potentially another one just about to come out. But uh, uh, I love being in the studio. So I love being in the studio and creating, whether it's music or paint or charcoal, whatever. Like
Mm,
just in my sanctuary, creating away and seeing something come to life. You know, it's like because when I was creating my music, I play guitar and sing, but I don't really properly play any other instruments. So then my friend James Arter, who's the producer, he can play everything. He then brings in his elements, and
yeah.
this thing is created and brought to life. You know, and like there are times where I've cried because it had like I'd never thought it was going to get to
Yeah.
that point. Like, it's just me on a guitar singing a song. It's very different to having everything else in there. You know, I love the creative side of it.
Yeah.
I'm probably more emotional at that point. or have more feeling about it. When I put it out there to show, I've almost let go of it. It's like it's out there now. I've almost let go of it. Yeah. It was almost a disconnect. It's like yeah. The bit for me is the creating side. I should really, well, this is where you come in. I'll have this wonderful agent. So I can just do my thing and you can do the other bit. That, it's like, honestly, yeah, I'm just like, yeah, like, I might as well be standing in front of someone else's art.
Do you think that's because as a commercial person, you're going to be handing it to somebody else? Because you're almost like it's part of the letting go process that you moved on, you're back in your creative space again.
Yeah, and I think also from the expressionist side sort of thing is I've moved on from that expression, perhaps, I mean, I might return to it and enjoy it, but I'm somewhere else now, so it's sort of, yeah. So I know that sounds very cold, but
I don't think it does. I think
No,
because what to your point, what you're getting out of the process is the creation. Yeah. Once it's done. I mean, it must.
Very much so, yeah.
There must be something that you get, like when I bought my pieces, like you were really happy that it went to me, right? So there's an element of that, like
100%. I love it when I think I've been lucky enough that most of my pieces have gone to people that not all people I know, but people I feel really appreciate it, and I know it's going to the right place then because they see something in it that they really enjoy and they can enjoy that long term. In the meantime, I'm down there creating something else, sort of thing, So I love that, and even with my songs, actually, like recently, some friends of mine have started playing one of my songs called "Cry." Because it's about a hangover, and they like they're in they're like 19 and 20, these guys, and so it's a whole different generation that likes this song, and they're like, why isn't this out there? It's amazing, and I do get a buzz from that. It's great that different age groups and people find my creativity interesting. So it's a privilege, exactly. It's a privilege.
I hadn't really thought about it as a privilege, but I guess it is, which is interesting because from the very beginning, I've always felt with the FTSQ Gallery that art is legacy, and that sounds like, which segues into the next question, is like what I'm doing my segues today.
Well done, Lena.
I should do this one now. What I would really like to know is, you talked then about like art going to people and it being there long term, and you've got these younger people coming through and listening to things or viewing your work. Like, what legacy do you want to create with your art, whether that be your music or your fine art?
I think, I suppose, if getting people to slow down as a legacy, then maybe that. Because we miss so much by going too fast. We're always in a hurry to get somewhere and we've missed we've missed it. It's back there. Getting slowed down because you have to observe something or you have to listen to something to really get it. And I suppose, like from my life sort of thing, just like get to know yourself and even as a hobby, do something that connects you to you. Like expression of something. I think everybody has that ability to some extent. Even if it's sport or whatever, fishing, whatever, it's like, spend some time with yourself. Spend some time with that's it. That's my legacy. Spend some time with yourself.
Beautiful legacy.
I like that. That's just popped into my head. Thank you, universe. Thank you.
Spend more time with yourself. Like, and what's interesting about that is whether that is in the form of music, because I know for me, when I listen to pieces of music, I cry a lot to music. It's in the heart. But same with art.
Yeah.
Like, I like that feeling of like extraordinariness, but it makes me reconnect. Do you know what? I hadn't even really thought about it, but it does make you reconnect with self.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're in that moment.
Which
There's
is
nothing
what
else
is so
happening other
beautiful,
than you
particularly
and that.
about fine art. What's so beautiful about that is you look, every single person looks at the same piece and can feel something completely different. And the thing that pulls that all together
Yeah,
is
that totally.
probably because it's them looking at it. And that's why it's different. Oh, that's beautiful. Liking
Definitely,
that.
definitely.
Liking that
Ooh,
legacy. It's
goosebumps.
pretty cool. Um, I mean, that's a mark to leave on the world, is it not? I don't
Well,
think I can
hopefully.
help you with that one.
Yeah.
So I think we've already kind of talked about this, but maybe we can delve into it a bit further. Is which non-conformist artists or creatives do you admire and why? We've kind of spotlighted some of that already, haven't we? Is there anything else about those
Yeah.
artists that kind of why you admire
Um,
them? Like Francis Bacon, I want to hear more about that.
I think because for their time they were doing
Right.
something different. Um, yeah, again, I probably see them as expressing themselves very much. Like even Picasso. I mean, he's a classic, but he maybe
Right.
separate
Yep.
their art from the
I tried
artist in
to
that case. But
with him.
um, but yeah, like they're looking for something new. They're expressing different things, whether they're going to be popular or not. They're doing it. They're doing their art. They're putting their version of creativity out there. Um, um, and for their time periods, they were absolutely trailblazers. They we're going to do this whether it's right or wrong, sort of thing. And the same with Bacon. Like he got shunned down a lot to begin with because the war had the Second World War just finished, and like people were just like, the last thing we want to see is blood and guts. Thank you very much, sort of thing. But he proved them wrong. And obviously, also for the time period, it was still very much illegal to be a homosexual at that point. But he was expressing that in his art. So he was a queer activist as well as an artist. It's about pushing. It's about pushing, well, that's sort of what our new project's going to be about out across borders is pushing back. It's like if you're not pushing, then it's coming this way. If you're not trying to evolve us, ourselves, and humanity, whatever, and art should be enlightening. It should be scary sometimes, but inevitably to enlighten you to, I've got a piece that I did, a charcoal actually, but it's dark. It's an image of Auschwitz and the pink triangle at the top. And at the last Open Studios, actually, there was a teenage lad who came over from his mum's an artist over on the other side of the hall. And he looked at it and said, "Wow, that's dark." And I was like, "Well, at your age, I'm really impressed you know what it is, And I said, "Well, sometimes art has to be dark to make the point, And I was inspired by my friend John to do that one. Actually, like he said, a lot of people visit places like Auschwitz and things like that. Some for memorial, but some for the experience, for the madness of that experience. But they visit it because they would never have been on the train where I would have been on the train.
Yeah.
And that was such a powerful statement to make. I was like, whoa, it's almost like I don't have to visit there because I know I would have been on that train.
Enough, because I was brought up a Jehovah's Witness, so would I have been if I'd been younger. So I do. And there's a whole grouping of people because I think the Jehovah's Witness had a purple triangle, I think. Yeah, it's really interesting
There was
because
the
I
star, the
think,
pink triangle.
and no disrespect to the Jewish community, but they were not the only community that were impacted. They had other people around them as well, which, obviously they were all together experiencing the same.
Yeah. I should really talk about this in the other thing, but a lot of the gay people who were at Auschwitz then got put in German prisons because they were still illegal.
So they were
people don't know that, They weren't set free. They were put in German prisons because they were
awful. So they
homosexual.
didn't. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awful.
yeah,
Well, we definitely.
yeah. So yeah, there's a whole side to that isn't spoken about, and again,
Well, no, we
let's
definitely,
not mention all of that at
as
the
I said,
moment
we're
because
definitely
it's
going to
too,
get you because you're
yeah,
only at the beginning of it, and you and Ian are doing that together. That's your
yeah,
husband, and you have invited me
yeah.
kindly in to sort of help where I can as well on that, which is exciting. Once that gets going, I'll definitely get you. In fact, I might get you both on if that's okay. You and Ian, yeah, talk
Yeah,
about that
100%.
in
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
detail because
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that is
yeah,
a whole
yeah,
other area. Clearly, it impacts what you've experienced, impacts on your art and so forth. But I think that obviously is another huge. We could speak for another hour
yeah,
easily on that.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah,
um, no, that's really cool. I didn't know that about so much about Francis Bacon actually being an activist. And I did, yeah.
yeah. I mean, just in his art, I mean, yeah. His dad threw him out because he spent too much time with the stable boys at the horse, because they had horses back in Ireland. And then he came to London. He started socialising in Soho, and he knew he was going to be an artist. He just knew it, and he went for it and was quite. His story in Soho is just crazy and amazing and
Yeah.
abusive and all sorts of stuff going on. So I really, he's a modern time artist, so he's not that far away well, there's photographs
Yeah.
of him in the French house still drinking there. I'm gonna pose. I'm gonna pose in the same spot where he had his photograph
I mean, you
taken
know
for
what? You've just
prosperity.
inspired me. I mean, I love art history, and for some reason, I haven't read a lot about him, so I'm going to have to go away and read more because, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really interesting character, and just because of the type of art he was doing, where his sexual partners were in the
Yeah.
art,
Oh,
and it
I
was
didn't
quite
realize
obvious
that's
that
who
they
they were.
were.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Like the dude sitting on the
Was
toilet was his
it?
partner who'd OD'd and died. Yeah, he found him in the
Oh, cool.
hotel
And
room,
like Elvis.
dead on the toilet. It's
Oh my goodness. Didn't know. Oh, definitely. I'm definitely going to go down a rabbit hole once we finish this. Um.
yeah, 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 yeah. Dude, he's a
So,
really interesting guy. Very interesting guy. Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
here's a question that I'd really like to know is if someone described your art as a collection in one sentence, what would you hope they said?
Um, oh gosh, not often I'm that quiet, is it?
Or just some words to
Um,
describe?
yeah. Um, I'm trying to think what if anybody's ever said anything. I'm sure there was. I'm trying to remember.
Is it,
I really don't know. I don't know because it's for me. It is such a different experience. Or I would like it to be a
oh,
different
that's kind of
experience
a
for
good
everybody.
sentence in itself.
Um, yeah, you know. Um, there, there's a fellow artist who's seen a couple of my pieces, and there's a lot of
Yes.
triangular stuff going in some of my abstract art and things like that. And he said, "What is that about?" And I was like, "Well, for me, it's telling you there's something behind there. So, like, it's about dimensions, whether that be spiritual or within self or just life in general. I'm trying to give layers to say, like, look,
Oh, yeah.
even the trees that I did, like the backgrounds are charcoal grey, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
go beyond the tree. What's
Go
beyond the
beyond the
tree?
tree.
It's
Right, right.
you know. So, yeah. So for me, it's like it's that. I hope that someone would say that they have made me
Oh, that's
search,
cool.
whatever
Made
that
me
means to
search.
them.
Which goes back to your point about legacy when you think about it, you know. So
Yeah, yeah.
excellent. Well, look, that has been a fascinating conversation. I've really enjoyed. I've learned things about you I didn't know, and I've known you for over a decade, which is kind of absolutely love that. Yeah, just because we've known each other a decade does not give away our age. Although I think that's like no, that's not
Yeah,
no our old
exactly.
name anyway.
No.
But look, thank you very much for coming on today. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. That's okay.
Thank you so much for the
It's been fun,
invitation.
hasn't
It's
it?
been really, really, really kind of you. Thank you. That's actually, yeah.
We are going to do it again.
Good to see you.
Well, thank you very much for coming on, and I'd like to say thank you to our audience for listening, and look forward to when we have Andy and Ian on again to talk about Out Across Borders. I think that'll be exciting. And just wish everybody a creative week and carry on being non-conformist, fuck the status quo, and we'll see you all next time. See you later, everybody.
I not seen you for a long time now. Dreams are waiting just behind those clouds. I've been waiting for a change of wind. I'm gonna find you there. I'm gonna find you there. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna find you there. I've been away, I've been an absent mind, lost connection to my higher times. A bag of worries and these tired eyes. I'm gonna find you there. I'm gonna find you there. I'm gonna rise, I'm gonna fly, I'm gonna find you there. In the empty places, abandoned deeply on an empty road. Desert sun, but man, this world's so cold. New beliefs, but will the old let go? Gonna find you there. I'm gonna find you there. I'm gonna